Welcome back, everyone. I'm John Furrier, theCUBE. We're in San Francisco. The game is heating up here at Supernova. This is Cerebras' event. It's turning into quite the conference. We are in the kind of the cool hangout startup room area. Adrian Mullan is here, CEO, founder of Norby. It's a great product. It's robotics meets human intelligence. Adrian, thanks for coming on theCUBE, pop-up cube.
Thanks for having me. Excited to speak to you.
I feel like we're in the red carpet. And it's like, hey, how do you think about Cerebras' event? Before we talk about Cerebras and all the coolness and AI, talk about your product, what you guys are doing, and the venture.
Sure, so Norby's an interactive voice companion, and we describe Norby kind of like a Pixar version of ChatGPT in a robot form factor, with a specific focus on voice interactions.
So is there software powered, AI chips in there? Take us through what's powering this puppy.
All of the above. So we do a lot of work in hardware and software, but we work with the folks at Cerebras for our inference on the LLM side of things, which has been a huge bonus in terms of speed.
So you can tell it's getting really kind of active in here. What's been the reaction? Is it shipping? What's going on with the product?
Yeah, we're about to open up our pre-order campaign, so we'll have the units available to pre-order on our website, and we're shipping out beta units end of July and hoping to get production units out by Thanksgiving.
All right, talk about what's involved. What's the, besides being cool, what's the relevance for the user piece? What's the main use cases? We've seen robotics really work well in people who are lonely. We've seen things where human-assisted activities, obviously ChatGPT, pretty much anyone under the age of 30 uses it to run their life. I kind of do that too, even though I'm a little older, but you start to see the AI software change our real world experiences. What's the use cases for you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's three big ones. The first one is language learning. So a lot of people are using Norby at the moment to practice speaking a second language. If you've ever had to learn a language before, you'll know that reading, writing, spelling, and grammar is the easy part, and the elephant in the room is particularly learning how to speak and pronounce things correctly. So effectively, people are using Norby as a little companion to be able to go back and forth. The second big use case is we're starting to do a lot of work around health, around things like speech therapy. So anything from young kids that have, say, an articulation disorder and need to improve their speech, through to the elderly, like you mentioned, where they may be recovering from, say, a stroke or a traumatic brain injury or dementia, and they need a partner to be able to go back and forth. And then lastly, the latest use case, which is getting quite a bit of traction at the moment, is effectively people using Norby as an AI assistant. So my one at home back in Melbourne sits beside my desk, and it's actually plugged into my email, into my calendar, to my social media feeds. So every morning I can jump in, tap Norby on the head, and it'll actually give me a breakdown of, okay, here are the important things in your inbox.
It's a chief of staff for you.
Essentially, yeah.
Don't send that email. Wait a day. We've all been there.
Absolutely.
I love the use cases because, again, I've seen such a great spectrum of robotics go from, kind of corner cases. Like I said, I'm an entrepreneur, and he was doing a use case where homes, where people elderly were lonely, and the robots changed their life expectancy. Now you're getting into mainstream language. I mean, we've all had the books, the tapes, and the iPod, now the iPhone, now the apps, now this. So again, the immersive experiences. When you guys started, was that kind of like, or you guys just, let's build a cool robot? Like, how did this all start?
I started the project several years ago, originally for my own daughter. So she was learning Chinese at the time. We were sending her to Mandarin school on Saturdays. She would come home looking very miserable. I actually had to go through the same thing as a kid 35 years ago. So my mum's Chinese, my dad's Irish. I spent many a Saturday going to Chinese school. Super tough language, a lot of rote learning, a lot of repetition.
The Irish dialect, by the way, so you can learn some of that. If you go to Ireland, you probably know.
Yeah.
So it's lonely when she's coming home. Who do I talk to? How do I conversational rapport? Practicing, is that what was the problem? Yeah,
so effectively, anyone who's got kids will know that it's a bit of a moving target, so the interests change over time. So you might have, say, a 3-year-old that loves trains, and then 4 it's dinosaurs, and 5 it's space, and so on. So for us, the holy grail is really the ability to be able to adapt to their interests over time. So we do a lot of work with Norby with memory, where as the user interacts with the device, it customizes the interactions.
It's a beautiful robot, I love it. What's going on with the software, the chips? Not to get nerd out here, but I'm interested because we're at Cerebras. They're the fastest tokens out, fastest tokens that they can stream out, better tokens, better intelligence. That's the AI side. How does this get smarter? How do you guys bridge that form factor with say Cerebras or other things? What's the thinking around the architecture?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, with all AI use cases, but especially things that involve speech, humans are very sensitive to latency. So we've used a bunch of providers before where the performance has been quite good, but the speed is just not there yet. So thankfully with Cerebras, we're able to cut down the latency dramatically, which makes a huge difference as you're going back and forth. We do a lot of work to be able to optimize the audio quality on device, and then partnering with those guys has been great.
What's the coolest use case that kind of jumps out at you that you didn't expect? A user or a corner case?
Yeah, look, we at the moment, to be honest, the problem that we have is we have so many people coming to us for all sorts of different use cases. One developer in particular is actually looking at setting up Norby's basically as an AI concierge inside hotel rooms. So the idea is that if you fly in from out of town, you'll have a Norby there that's plugged into the hotel system, and it'll know what level the gym is on. You'll be able to order room service, and you'll be able to do it in 40 plus different languages.
Send all my Netflix settings. I'm coming in, I'm going to be tired, make me feel better. Welcome back, John.
Yeah.
I know you're all alone again. CUBE trip. I mean, this is kind of the personalization piece, the humanization.
Yeah, and look, to be honest with you, this is not a new idea, right? People have been trying to do this literally since the 60s. The problem traditionally has been you've had to build every level of the stack yourself, whereas now we feel like the stars are sort of starting to align, and it's actually at the stage where with people like Cerebras, it's mature enough to be able to put out into production.
What is the business plan for you guys? What's the strategy? Make this so you're doing all the heavy lifting and then software plugs in? Are you thinking you guys will have that up and down the stack? What's the scalable strategy you guys see?
Yeah, so initially we're doing a lot of work directly with consumers, basically to be able to get feedback. So we have a really large list of beta users where they're using it for things like language learning, speech therapy, and so on. But eventually we'll transition to focusing on the platform, and then we'll enable developers to be able to plug in all of the fun agentic use cases.
You know, I was talking with Michael Dell of the last Dell Tech World, and I also talked to some of their corp dev and their strategy people, because they always we are analysts, we cover them. They asked me a question: what's the future of the personal computer? And I went a little rogue, and I'm like, well, my relationship with the computer is my phone. It's a collection of everything connected. And if you think about like the PC, we're living in a world where our devices are multifold. There's a lot of devices, not one thing. I use my PC all the time when I'm banging out some work products, when I'm on a plane. So now things are becoming an extension of our computing. What's your thoughts on that reaction to that, and how does that manifest into a user experience? I mean, it should be, it senses who I am. I got my own model. I swipe it over to the device. I mean, I'm making this up, but the vibe is there.
Yeah, look, it's interesting that you mentioned that. I think we're in a really exciting time at the moment. Personally, I think that the two big form factors over the next decade will be embodied devices and wearables. Smartphones are great, we can't live without them, but unfortunately I think most people will agree they've kind of become a bit of a victim of their own success. If you think about the sort of use cases that we do, things like language learning, you really want to be able to keep the user in a flow state, which is difficult to do with an app on your phone, because the moment you start interacting, a notification pops up, someone tries to call you, or you get distracted by TikTok or social media. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I love the flow state, because that's life. But there's no flow state device, because you're being interrupted by other things that are different contexts, work, that doesn't understand the awareness.
Correct.
So, I mean, just a straw man question for you. How many people do you know carry two phones? Almost all my friends do now. I go, why do you carry two phones? One's got WhatsApp, one's got Telegram, one's a work phone. So, I mean, people are literally carrying around two phones. Some cases two iPhones, some cases an Android and an iPhone. So they're carrying two phones.
Yep, absolutely.
That's insane. No, but why? Because they want different things.
Correct. Yeah, and look, personally, I would say 90% of the day I've got notifications switched off on my phone on D&D, just because I don't want to be interrupted. So I think increasingly, as the underlying technology, these foundational models get smarter, we'll be able to build these interactions where people can just go back and forth naturally with speech. Yeah.
Digital, physical relationship, first party, flow state, steady state, context aware, situational. Hey, I'm in family mode right now, leave me alone. Or, hey, I'm in work mode. give me notifications.
Yeah, well, we actually have a bunch of, we call them personas built into Norby. So you can switch it, for example, from like a brainstorming assistant mode to a therapist, to a companion. We have one staff member in our office that wants to put it in a venting mode. So basically, Norby will just sit there and she'll complain about her boyfriend, and it'll just agree with her. So we're getting people with all sorts of wacky
Mental
use
health
cases.
is up and to the right.
Yes.
What's your vision for a steady state for you and your business preferred future? Norby on everyone's desk, Norby on everyone's nightstand, Norby in every home. What would be your North Star vision?
Yeah, effectively for us, we want Norby to live right next to the desktop. We're seeing a lot of activity at the moment in things like humanoids, and that will increase. Realistically, though, we've still got a little while to go before they become mainstream. Yeah. And I think we'll live in a reality where people will have multiple devices under the one roof.
Yeah. I mean, to me, one of the biggest problems I have with my desktop is I have all these dongles.
Right.
Connecting all the different machines. I got a Mac, I got a PC, I got my gaming station, and I got my chargers. So like, add a little external peripheral.
Yeah.
And you got my desktop. Adrian, thanks for coming on theCUBE.
Hey, thank you. It was
Appreciate
great speaking
you.
to you.
Final question, Cerebras. What's your take on Cerebras? Obviously, their event here. What's your relationship with Cerebras? What do you think about their numbers?
It's pretty impressive, yeah. The team's been amazing to deal with. They've been really receptive to feedback, and you'll hear a bunch of new announcements today in terms of new models, which is, really good.
Thanks for coming on. Good luck. Looking forward to getting one. When can I get one?
Pre-orders are available on the website now. Beta units shipping in the next few months, and then production units just before Thanksgiving.
All right, well, I need some therapy for sure, and then talk to someone to complain to. All right, I'm John Furrier here, bringing all the action, the pop-up cube. We do whatever it takes. Cerebras SUPERNOVA event turning into basically a conference. 2,000 people line out the door, super packed. Of course, theCUBE's here. I'm John Furrier, your host. Thanks for watching.